Hello and welcome to Tuner Tips by todderbert. In front of us we have the VENLAB VM600A. This is a digital multimeter with non-contact voltage sensing and temperature function. You can find this retailing on Amazon for $31.99. Mine had a coupon for 9% off. Hopefully that's still there, bringing the price down to $29. A great mid-range tester. Might be something you want on your bench. I'm actually really happy with it and I've been using it all the time now. This is fantastic. So let's look at the box. Pretty basic. Some people like to see what the box is about. There we go. Cool. So I took everything out to show you. First things first, star of the show, the VENLAB. It just fits on my screen here like this, so I'll probably end up turning it when we're doing some testing. But yeah, this is pretty neat, the VM600A. As you can see, there's quite a bit of function to it, and we'll go over those functions. Most of them. We have a temperature probe. Somebody commented on my last multimeter review I did, and they wish they had temperature as well. Well, now you do. So if you're watching, hopefully you're happy about seeing that. It comes with 4 AAA batteries that it runs on. I already installed some of my own, but yeah, Warriors. Love the name of that. Awesome. We got some test leads, of course. They fit certain way. You can't put the black and the red, which is good. One's a little thicker than the other, so that's nice. And these measure out to 40 inches, so quite the length. And they come with protective covers for the ends, so very nice. So we get those, rock on. And of course we get the user manual. Gotta look at this real quick, because there's quite a bit in here. You might be able to download the PDF if they have one. If not, we'll have this for posterity. So here's the table of contents, safety information, symbols, interesting, so you know, basic, used universally. Okay, and here is a overall view of the product and what it can do, and quite a few extra features I may or may not use, like frequency and duty cycle. Interesting. You can test capacitors with this. I thought that was interesting. Nice thing to have. You got a backlight, flashlight. The flashlight's actually very nice on this one. It has a nice wide field, which is good. Auto ranging or manual mode. That's also a nice thing to have. Going manual and setting it to where you want it to be. There you go. So we'll go over what it can measure and what it can do. But in case I miss something, it's all right here. And you can freeze frame it and read to your heart's content. Page 6. Yeah, there's the capacitance measurement. There's your frequency duty measurement. Of course, AC/DC current. That's a cool thing to have too. Now, when you're building radios, if you're watching my channel, you know I'm a radio channel, portable radios, and I do build a few of the kits, and they require you to take current measurements to make sure your circuit is performing properly. And this, now you can use this device to do it. It does it with great accuracy. Here's some specifications. There you go. What it can do, what it can measure on frequency and temperature. Interesting temperature. It goes all the way to 1000 Celsius. That's crazy. Wow, you think he'd melt the probe or the wires leading to it. So I might have to use a special probe for that. There's AC voltage, DC voltage. There you go. Diode continuity. We're almost through with this. We get different languages here soon. All right. I know there's some pages in here. Here we go. AC current, DC current, resistance. I really like resistance because sometimes you just want to look at those color bands. You just want to touch the tester to leads to figure out what resistor you're handling. Very handy to have. And of course, capacitance. I don't know if it's needed. I guess if you're testing old capacitors, but at that point, you're typically replacing them. So it may or may not be a good, useful feature for you if you're building radios or repairing radios. And of course, maintenance. There you go. Cool, so we're done with that. Let's get to the star of the show. We'll do some demos with this, and I'll give you some final thoughts at the end of the video. But we'll take and get rid of some of this, get this out of the way. We have to, of course, leave the probes there. All right, cool. So I'm just going to actually set these aside for the moment, and we're going to go over the main unit and what it can do. So here we are, the VENLAB VM600A. Yeah, it's a decent size. Overall, if you look at it, it's quite the chunky guy. It's a great desk because it has a stand on the back here. You can flip this open. You can stand it up nicely. That is a good thing to have on a bench. This is going to be on the bench all the time, and we'll be able to do most everything I need. Some people might find that they need more, but for me, this is perfect. This does everything, and actually more than I need at the moment. So I can grow into this, which is good. Pretty happy for 29 bucks. So yeah, let's go over dimensions. So we have a width of 3 5/8 of an inch. That's up here, the widest. And then we have a height or length, if you want to call it. Starting with this, this is the non-contact voltage sensor. To the bottom here is 7 3/4 inches. And then we have a thickness or depth of 2 inches. It goes to the back here. Nice. So yeah, what can we talk about the VENLAB? So I told you about the leads are 40 inches long that plug into here. You can see it's got the different ones if you're testing current, if you're testing the others. Okay, it gives a little information at the bottom there, which we'll zoom in on in a moment. So this is a removable case. This is like a vinyl. So first of all, on the back here, I showed you the stand. There's one screw. Open it up, and you can replace the 4 AAA batteries. Now, it says fuse, but there's no fuse spot. You actually have to take the whole thing apart to get to the fuses. That's another thing I forgot to mention. It does come with 2 fuses, 2 AC fuses. I was looking for those, and they must have fallen off the table. Yes, they did. They give you 2 of these fuses. There's the value. Okay, cool. Good to know. Glad they came with those. So you have to take this whole cover off to get to them. And those little fuses are replaceable, which is good. So there's like 4 screws to open up the device to get to the fuses. But that comes off nicely. So yeah, and it's pretty rugged feeling, like it could take a hit and be okay. I don't want to drop this to test it, but it's probably going to be just fine. And of course, it incorporates a magnet for stability. If you're working on a car, you can put this on the side fender or in a spot where it's going to stay put. You're not going to be able to hang it on a wall really, but I know with that magnet, but at least it helps it stabilize where you're working. Of course, here is a hanger spot for a wall if you want to hang it up in a workshop, and a spot for the probes for storage. So you can see where they notch in there. So yeah, that's the back side. Got little feet there. So yeah, it's the front. We have, actually, you should look at the top here. We have our flashlight. We can turn it on. I don't know if I can turn it from off. Nope. I turn this here. Turn the unit on. Press the backlight button. And of course, this light comes on. It's really nice. It's a real floody light. And this is going to be very handy if you need to light up an area. So we'll turn that off. Just press and hold. There we go. And yeah, it's reading right now. I'll just turn that. So then we have the non-contact voltage sensor. You put a AC cord next to this or AC field, and it'll pick up either weak or strong, and it'll tell you how strong it is by the color of LEDs displayed here above NCV. Nice. And I'll try to demo that here. You can see that in action. So as you can see, VENLAB, it has a large LCD. I did turn it on there. There you go. Awesome. Again, you can have the backlight. If I lift this up a little bit, you can see it better. It's got a certain field of view on the camera. Now in person, you don't have to do that, but for my camera, I have to lift this up a little bit if you want to see that. But I think we can see it fine without the backlight. So there you are. And of course, we have auto power off. Of course, we're reading in millivolts. It's auto ranging right now. Of course, we can change that with these buttons. I'll show you. But nice large LCD with these 6,000 counts, which is fantastic. So I showed you all that. What else we got? We got auto off, which I mentioned. That can be disabled. So if you want to have this run more than 15 minutes without turning off on you on the bench, you can actually disable the auto off feature. So we got 4 buttons underneath here. We got function, so it changes different functions. Like here, if you want to do AC, we will say we'll change to regular volts, and we want to go to AC, so we'll click that. Now we can read AC voltage when we have our connections in. Go back to DC. That's nice. So that's what you'll be using there. And if you have a reading that you took, you can actually press and it'll hold the reading for you if you're trying to write something down or take measurements. Probably refer resistance. It's probably a good one. So we'll go ahead and do that. This button here is for your, try to remember this one here, frequency and duty cycle and capacitance 0 button. I don't know if I'll be using that a whole ton, but it's there for you. Your range, of course, you can hit this. Turns off the auto ranging feature, so now it'll only show in this voltage unless you change it. Go back to, actually you can tap it to change different ranges. Nice. And then there you go, press and hold, go back to auto. So yeah, then you can adjust your range. I think that's pretty nice. Cool. And then over here we have our flashlight and backlight button that you saw. And it lasts 30 seconds. When you click it on, it automatically turns off. It doesn't want to wear out the 4 AAA batteries that are in there. So yeah, here's our selector. So off, we have millivolts, volts, and then we have the third feature here, which is test for continuity, resistance, and diode. Then we have capacitance here. Up here we have our frequency, duty cycle. Over here we have the different current you can measure. You can measure micro, milliamp, and regular amps, microamps, said that right. And then of course, go down to here, you can go to your non-contact voltage, and then here we have our temperature. It'll show ambient display, and there's Celsius. If you hit function, you can change it to Fahrenheit. Handy. We plug our probes in here. Say you hold it in your hand, you can watch it heat up. I'll try to demo that, so it's pretty cool. So we'll just go ahead and turn this off. The beep, you can't turn off, so that's one annoyance that I don't like about it. But for 29 bucks, I'm not going to whine too much. On the bottom, you can see you have the different connections. If you're doing current readings, you're going to use these here. It's fused. Be careful when you read current. Know how to measure current. Study that up. If you don't know how to measure current, definitely research it. Usually it's in line or in series with the circuit, not in parallel. So definitely do not measure a battery. It won't give you current directly. You have to measure the current from the battery to the circuit. So like if you were testing a radio, you would be testing the positive terminal of the battery and then making the connection from the positive terminal to the radio. So you leave the positive out without touching the radio. So it's kind of neat. I was able to check out and see what some of my radios were pulling for power, and it's neat how low they are. It's a fun thing to do once in a while. But for building a radio, a lot of times you use that for testing. And of course, you got your common, and you got for all your other features here, volts, resistance, duty cycle, frequency, and temperature. And you can see the different things they can do there. So yeah, overall, it does quite a bit. It measures AC voltage up to 750 volts, which you saw in the book. DC up to 1,000 volts. Awesome. Resistance, continuity. Measures diodes. Capacitance up to 100 millifarads. It's pretty big. Frequency, duty measurements. And of course, 20 amp AC or DC current measurements. So we're going to do some demoing on this. Yeah. And I'll give me my final thoughts. So let's go ahead and get those probes ready. So like I mentioned, they had little covers on them. Let's take those off. Boom. They got these like little pierce ends on them so you can pierce wires if you have to. Don't really recommend it, but it's there if you need to. You can't get to the circuit and you have to pierce the wire to do that. So I'm going to try to do this without wrapping around my tripod here. Let's go ahead and we'll plug in this area. I'm not going to do the current one because I don't want to short something out and have a fuse blow. Because, yeah, if you miss something, you could have an issue. But we'll do this here. We'll test out a few things. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. We'll turn on volts. We'll test some batteries because typically you're going to be testing your batteries on the bench. And, yeah, you have your common, say, 18650 flat top. Got your positive and negative end. And, yeah, we can see what this pulls here. And we'll, of course, check with another tester as well. So if I get in the way, don't mind me. This isn't the best way to do this, but I'm doing it on camera. There you go. It's measuring 3.572. Now this multimeter is going to replace another one that I have here. I'm just going to slide this over. I have this X-Tech I bought when Radio Shack was going out of business. Thought I had a good deal on it. It was like 60 bucks. And actually, this does a lot more than this thing does. So let me just kind of bring this in and we'll do a reading on this here. So let's go ahead and get the DC. Make sure I'm in range there. Yeah, I'm on DC. Okay, so yeah, this actually has a more counts or displays more information. So let's go ahead and just test the battery with this one, just to give you an idea. See what it says. It should be pretty close because I tested it with resistance and batteries and it's identical. So just to show you side by side, this one here, we'll test it. Okay, I gotta switch it around here. So I'll just switch my leads here. So 3.55 is what it's come out to. And if you remember, the VENLAB, when I tested with that, we'll do it one more time, it gave a little extra. It had one extra digit. Let's see, it's going 3.572. So there you go. So probably within range, yeah. So we'll just set that aside. We'll show you that with resistance as well. But yeah, you can use that to test your lithium batteries. You can use it to test, say, your alkalines. This is a little trickier because it's a smaller battery. They tend to want to roll around. You can actually just hold this in your hand. Do a test. Get on there. There you go, 1.416. And if you want to see what the other tester does, why not? We'll bring it in. We're having fun. It's demo time at Todderbert's lab, right? It's fun. I like it. So again, we'll just hold these here. So 1.41. Okay, cool. So that gives you an idea. All right. Nice, bigger display, liking that. The light's better too. So if I hit the light, nice bright light. This one here has a light. And it's kind of weak. I mean, it's okay. The display is nice on it, but yeah. Yeah, not much of a... I like the beep on the other one better, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. So that's that. What else can we test? Let's test resistance. This will be fun. I have some old school Archer. Yeah, you probably remember these. These are way old. 19 cents. I didn't want to open this up. So we're going to test them in the package. Yeah, so there's a 10% tolerance on these 3.9 kilo ohm resistors. And they definitely go to 10% the other way. You'll get to see that. It's pretty funny. So we'll go here to our three different things. We have continuity, resistance, and diode. Right now it's in resistance mode automatically, so that's fantastic. We'll go ahead and we'll test the resistor. Just gonna line up these little probes, try to do it in the package. I think I had it. So 4.28 or 4.2, okay, 4.274, something like that. It's the best I'm going to get in the paper there. And then, of course, we can bring in the other tester just to see what it's going to say when we test the same thing. So we'll set this to resistance. Of course, it's auto-ranging. And we'll do the same test. It should come out pretty close. Sure, I'm on it. Okay, it's hard to see when I'm measuring here. Okay, it should. All right, hold on. I'm almost there. I get it. Trying to see how this connection is going. There it is. 4.26. Okay, you got it. It's like I said, I didn't want to take them out of the package because I think the package is really cool. Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, they're very similar. So there you go. We got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and turn that one off. We're done with that. So there's a lot more to show you on this one. Yeah, the capacitance. Hopefully we'll be able to do this proper. So we'll set it to capacitance there. Okay, we'll just leave it on auto. I have a small capacitor here to avoid, any big pops. I don't want to do that. You want to discharge resistor or take it out of the circuit to do testing. And of course, polarity, no polarity, negative and positive. And yeah, I think you just hold these on until it charges it up. So we'll go ahead and everything's auto-ranging. Should read about 100. This is 100 microfarad electrolytic. So now it's auto. I'm pressing it down on the leads. There you go. And there's its reading. It's fully charged. So there you go. And it's got the microfarad reading up on the top right corner. There you are. That's how you can test that it's good. I like that. Awesome. What else we got? Continuity. So we can do continuity. I didn't show you that's a pretty basic feature of this. Function, of course, is going to change the mode you're on. So we can continuity, this little symbol there. And then we'll go ahead and say I have a project. I got this FM AM radio, and I got this antenna I screwed on there to make sure the connection's good to the board. And so I would just take one of my leads, touch it to the antenna, and of course touch it to the board where it's soldered here. And we have a good connection. Nice loud beep to tell you, yes, your continuity is good. You'll be using that a lot, especially with basic circuits, to make sure that your solder joints are good. Nice feature to have on any voltmeter. So yeah, so we got that. We didn't want to show you current, but we'll go to the non-contact voltage. We'll take these out, and we're almost done with the video. Thanks for hanging in there. It's a great product. I'm enjoying showing this to you guys, and I hope it's something you would pick up for yourselves. Let's set that down. So yeah, this it's kind of an interesting mode. I've seen inexpensive testers as well. I have an AC cord here. As you can see, it's weak. Now there's one spot on this cord where it's thinner, so I'm going to see if I can pick up a stronger rating. There we go. So this one wire is less shielding than the other. So I turn it over here. This wire is actually got more insulation. This wire has less. So you can see it turns red. So there you are. Very cool. Now, of course, if that was higher voltage than 110, it'd probably be brighter. Or the field if it was closer. But you can see how close you have to be to this to get the signal. So there you are. Good little test. And of course, we could do the probes. Those are fun. People are going to like this. So I'm going to put it to Fahrenheit because I'm in the U.S. and most of my audience is from the U.S. Sorry, Europeans or other countries. Let's go ahead and show you. They come with this temperature probe here. You get this with the kit, of course. Very nice. We're going to plug it right in. And yeah, like I said, this is probably just more basic measurements. You're not going to be using this for like 1,000 degrees Celsius stuff, but you can just press and hold this here and it should warm up. As you can see, it's doing that no problem whatsoever. I don't know how warm it's going to get. There you go, about 90, 91 degrees. All right, let go. And it should go back to closer to ambient temperature. There you go, it's starting to go down. So yeah, it's a pretty basic thing. They give you enough wire to do some measurements. If you're measuring the temperature of, say, a voltage regulator, nice to have on this unit. So we're done. Yeah, pretty much demoed what I wanted to show you guys. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to show you. Yep, that's about it. So yeah, the VENLAB 600A. Does it get a recommended buy? I would say yeah. It offers quite a bit for $29. As you can see, frequency, again, duty cycle that I'm going to have to learn how to use. If I'm building radios, I'm sure I'll probably have to use that. Current, being able to read current, especially up to 20 amps is nice. I think this one was only up to 10 amps. Yeah, this is only a 10 amp tester. So having up to 20 amps is nice to have. Double the capacity pretty much. And I like the display. I like the fact that it has the extra digits than this one. This one is like a smaller display. So having that is really good too if you're doing finer measurements. So there you are. Yeah, and of course, fit and finish is pretty decent. Everything seems to fit really well. Like I say, they even have the screw to get to the battery compartment. Holds everything snugly, so it's not going to go anywhere. And pretty rugged build. So, and for the money, everything the switch feels good. You can't knock it. So yeah, there's pretty much not much to complain about. It's like, except for the beep. Wish I could turn the beep off. That'd be a nice feature. Or turn it down. That's one thing I'd like. The light, I'd like it to be on and stay on, but maybe the capacitance not enough for the batteries. They're just trying to save batteries. But with the flashlight, it'd be nice to have it so it's always on and have you manually control that. That's a couple things I'd add to it. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a like if you did. 2, if you like VENLAB products, you want to see more, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, get notified of future multimeter reviews from this company because I did buy another one from them and I think it's cool. I think you guys will like it. And yeah, stay tuned for that video. And 3, comment below what you think about VENLAB multimeters in general. Do you like these multimeters? Multimeters? Do you like them? Do you like the Tesman that I reviewed? Just let me know. And if you have a favorite that you want me to review, I'll do it. I'm going to stay away from the expensive fluke meters and the ones that are $200-300 because, to be honest with you, this hobby doesn't need to be that expensive. It can be pretty basic. You know, unless you're doing something high-end, high-tech, you're probably watching a different channel. I'm more for, low-tech radio building, simple stuff. And that's fine by me, and repair, basic repair. So there it is. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in my next video.